Fundamentals 9. Focusing on the pattern. I'm sure that you've all heard the classic bit of advice, watch the ball. In fact, I'll bet you've heard it a lot. I'm sure that the reason that it's used is that it's only 3 syllables and can be said quickly. The problem with it is that it isn't a very accurate phrase. Take the word watch in the phrase, watch your little brother. You could consider that you're watching him if he's in your peripheral vision. But of course, that's not the kind of watching being referred to in the phrase, watch the ball. The coach I've been going to hates the phrase, so he's coined a different one. Focus on the pattern. The advantage of using the word focus instead of watch is that having the ball in your peripheral vision doesn't constitute focusing. You really have to be zoned in on the ball to focus on it. The other big difference in my coach's saying is that he uses the word pattern instead of the word ball. The pattern is what you see on the ball, which might be the brand name, such as Wilson, Penn, etc., or just the seam that winds around the ball. But if the ball is spinning, you may just see a blur. These are all what my coach considers to be the pattern. The idea is that if someone asks you if you saw the ball, all you can say is yes or no. Whereas if someone asks you if you focused on the pattern, you should be able to say whether you saw the brand name, the seam, or a blur. If you can truthfully reply to one of these answers, you did focus on the pattern. So focusing on the pattern, when the ball comes in, I just watch it and I focus it. And right now I can see Wilson 1. If I don't see Wilson 1, maybe I'll see the seam. I'm seeing the seam. Well, let's come at it from the other side. So here you are. Here the ball is, you can see the seam. Here the ball is, you can see Wilson 1. If it's spinning, you see it spinning. Since the term watch the ball is used pretty universally, you need to be able to translate it to the meaning of focus on the pattern, even if you never use the term focus on the pattern. Focusing on the pattern has several benefits. If you can focus on the pattern all the way to ball contact, you will absolutely know where the ball is at contact. Whereas if you look toward your opponent before the ball contact, the wind or a spin on the ball can cause the ball to deviate from the path you calculate it's going to take. Looking toward your opponent can also cause your body, and thus your hitting arm, to move, which will affect your swing. So if, as the ball comes in, I look at it like this, I go to hit it, but I start to look up, that's just looking up, just looking forward, is pulling my upper body around and moving the racket. You don't want looking at your opponent to affect your racket swing. It's deadly. If you focus on the pattern, you will likely observe how your opponent's racket face meets the ball. So it's not only you're looking at the ball, focusing on the ball as it arrives in your vicinity, you're looking at the ball as it arrives at your opponent's vicinity, so you can see what they're doing with their racket. If they have a very short backswing, they are going to dink it. If they start the racket really low, they may be going to lob it. If they get a big backswing, they're going to just really drive the ball. So focusing on the pattern, focusing on the ball all the way to the opponent will also help you. If you focus on the pattern, you will likely observe how your opponent's racket face meets the ball, whether they're hitting it with topspin, racket low to high, and thus you should expect a high bounce, or they're slicing it, racket high to low, and thus expect the ball to slow down after it bounces and stay low. Whether they hit the ball hard, big follow through, or they hit a drop shot, small follow through. Focusing on the pattern will reduce errors in any stroke you hit.